live, respectmyregion.com. Here today on another episode of the Respect My Region podcast. Officially, I don't remember what episode this is. I know we're approaching like a buck 50 or something like that, but so we're getting up there. But today, everybody, we've got a wonderful guest. We've got Lance Asher, owner, founder, Green Elevator. They're a group out of Minnesota doing the hemp THC thing, man. He's out there killing it. They got it. They got tinctures, they got gummies, they got beverages. We're going to talk about some of their new flavors today. We're going to talk about how he came up with all the fun stuff, because beverages is a little bit different than growing weed. Tinctures and flavoring, and there's a lot of science that goes into this. So today we're talking flavors. I'm excited. Lance, how you doing, my man? Welcome to the show. How you living?
I'm living great. Yeah, thanks, Joy. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're having a good time. We've been having a good
Love
time
it.
up here in Minnesota for a very long time. We've been having a great time with beverage since about I don't know, August of 2022. And
Wow.
then we're trying to spread this wave across the country, and I think it's
Mhm.
working out pretty swell. Outside of some of the maybe a little bit more restrictive um legislation that might be moving through some houses and some senates and some things
Yeah.
like that. But we'll work it out, and really the people ultimately, um, I think the people will win at some point in time here. We've been working on freeing the plant for a really really long time. There's people well before us um, that were working on this, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
It's an exciting time for you guys. There's a lot of change, a lot of potential change. It's interesting because it was like the hemp CBD stuff was so quick to come around once legal cannabis kind of got settled in some of the states. But then it's just very clear that there's just a general misunderstanding of all kinds of stuff surrounding that whole world, whether it's the cannabis side of it, whether it's the hemp industry, how those people and industry people intersect. There's a lot of just a lot of running their mouths, I guess, for lack of a better word there. But ultimately, man, it's like it's small businesses, it's creative people. There's not truly that much difference between what you're doing and these other groups. Even the regulation is strict. And it's not as easy as everyone thinks it is. And so today we're going to kind of unpack some of that. We're going to break down, bring some clarity to what it's like to operate in the hemp space, not just in beverage, but in tincture and gummies as well. These are three different
Yeah.
categories, three different types of customers. They do overlap, they do intersect, and they do often hang out and congregate together, and whatever with the people. Like, it's not so different. Like, there is a very strong consumer base with that. And so, Lance, tell me, how did you come up with Green Elevator, the brand name? Tell me a little bit about that story, and why you chose those three products to create.
Yeah, for sure. There's I don't know, in Minnesota, what we like, and we've got some different restaurant groups and some different restaurants like like Blue Door Pub. We've got Red Rabbit. We have um Red Cow, right? Like we take a color and we make something out of it is really what it ends up being. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, if we already dig it, then why fight the feeling, you know? And
Yeah.
so I'm like, all right, well, easily green, right? Green plant, green, all right, good. And then I'm like, gosh, what is it gonna be? And if I ever forget people's names, which I do a decent amount, right? Um, so we see so many people, but when I forget somebody's name, I run through the alphabet, and that's like my little trick to kind of like try and figure it out, right? I'm like, I get to Joe, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Joey. All right, I got it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did the same thing in naming Green Elevator. I got to E, and I'm like, there's nothing on E, and then I'm like, elevator. Wait a second. Well, that's pretty cool. What does an elevator do? Does an elevator go up? It goes down.
It lifts
What does
people.
cannabis help you do, right? Like it lifts people and it brings them back to base, like wherever they need to be. Whether you're in the lobby, you're in the penthouse, or you're in one of those middle floors, it really doesn't matter
It
what
just
it
gives you a
is,
lift wherever you need to go, man. I feel that was such a,
right?
in my head, I was like, wait, what does the elevator do? It gives you a lift. And you're like, it gets you a lift exactly where you need to be. Like, you were speaking
Yeah.
that at the same time as that clicked.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly what we're looking for. And so when we're coming up with this tagline, which my daughter actually came up with, it's the elevator will take you where you want to go,
Wow.
right?
What a great tagline.
Man, it's fantastic because and we don't use it nearly as much. It's just on the top of the can, but the
Mhm.
elevator will. It'll take you where you want to go, and it's pretty fantastic. So that really is where it started. And then on the gummy side, I think there's a lot of gummies that are out there that don't taste as good as they need to, right? And we're better than a gummy being a delivery system, only a delivery system for cannabinoids. It should taste good. If food comes to our table and that dish lands in front of us, and it's liver and onions, well, of course, it's probably not going to smell the best, but they seem to do a
Mhm.
decent job of making liver and onions smell delicious, right? I don't know if you're going to think it's delicious, but if something comes to our table and on that plate if it doesn't smell good, what is it that we're going to do with that? We're probably going to send it back, right? You're like, this doesn't smell right. Send it back. We might take a little nibble, figure out what it is. But when we're looking at these gummies and we're chewing on these gummies, sure, fine, a cheaper gummy is going to be all right, right? It's going to get us some form of feeling. We maybe forget a little bit about what the flavor was. But it sticks to the inside of my cheek, and I'm sure it sticks to the inside of your guys' cheeks. And that flavor that's there oftentimes isn't a very appealing flavor.
Right.
And we're better than that. So I wanted to come to
Agreed.
market with a gummy that actually tastes good, right? And tastes good through that 15 minutes. It's not
Mhm.
something that you have to slam down a Coca-Cola or slam down another beverage or, eat a chocolate or a chip or
Yeah,
something like that after.
when
You
the
know what
edible
I mean?
requires a chaser, that's not necessarily good.
I know, but yet we're doing that, right? So why are
Yes.
we doing that? And so what I do is I run around the countryside, and wherever the event may be, I'm generally driving. I very rarely am flying. I'm going to do a better job of probably flying a little bit this year instead of driving. Um, I run across the countryside and I just shove bags of gummies in people's faces, and I'm like, just smell these gummies. They taste so good, they smell good, right? Like to be able to make that statement, that's the statement I wanted to be able to make when I was going to make gummies,
Mhm.
and finding those right partners and working on the flavors that are there. It was super important that if you open that bag up, I want you to be able to smell that gummy and it be something that you're like, this is going to be great. So
Yeah.
from the packaging to, opening gummies is one of the hardest things in the world. We can only do our best there. Um, with childproofing and everything like that. But that's why I came out with lemon cake. We used wedding cake terpenes just to drive the flavor of the
Mm.
cake within the gummy. And then yeah, I mean, everything's got a little bit of a blend of terpenes that are in there. We went on to mini donuts after that, which is super
Wow.
nostalgic and very like county fair, state fair-esque. And
Dang,
then
that's great. How do so that's in a gummy form?
it is, yeah.
Mini
Yeah,
donuts
we
and gummies. I'm picturing in my mouth, someone says mini donuts. I'm picturing like those brown ones or the powdered or the chocolates, right? The mini donuts.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
yes,
like
that's
dropped in that
exactly,
machining thing and slowly spun around and then floating right in the oil and all that. Like that's
yep.
crazy. So tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about the science. How do you come up with something like that? What goes into that? Is it math? That you have to do a bunch of math equations, or how do you measuring? What is that like for you?
Yeah. That's beautiful because I don't I'm the crazy guy that finds the madman, right? So I'm the crazy guy that comes up with the idea and then I find the madman that's going to figure the thing out.
Mhm.
So mini donuts and then malt and fries, like dipping a fry in a frosty or a fry in a chocolate malt, right? Like I put that flavor into a gummy as well. And so mini donuts and malt and fries took like 3 or 4 months of R&D.
Wow.
We ended up having, little tiny, I was running around the market with little tiny beakers with toothpicks, um, and just dipping the toothpick in the little beaker and just giving it to all of my friends and my family and anybody I could come across and be like, all right, cool. What do you think about this? Is it a little too hot this way? Right. We found out this the cinnamon was coming through just a little bit too much on the mini donuts, right? And so it actually, enough cinnamon can get a little hot, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so we pulled back a little bit on the cinnamon and we used a vanilla sugar and just balanced it the best that we possibly could. And from first batch, we ended up, maybe not getting um getting all of that kind of cinnamon burn out of
Mhm.
there. So they were just a little bit more hot, but that second batch, we balanced it out even a little bit more and it was good. I mean, we just have good,
Great.
um, flavor houses and things like that. And there's a sponsor of your show here that's like an extract or flavor company or flavor house or something like that,
Yep,
right?
yep. So and even then, it's still cool because it's like you didn't just come out with another strawberry kiwi, or it wasn't another lemon lime, right, or another
Yeah.
berry, or
Blue
my favorite one, the
raspberry.
Costco, the triple berry, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of gummies and candies out there, and I thought it was really cool. That you were going your own creative direction and standing in your own lane, and then as you're saying, going and finding the person, the individuals, these flavor houses or whatever, to craft your vision. I think it's super inspiring that can even be done, right? Because so many people have no
Right.
idea that's how it would even be done, right? And I think that's what's
Right.
cool too about your guys' industry there in Minnesota, the hemp space, is that to be a small business, it can be done, right? You can start and build and create and do that, and you've been able to do that. What was it like for you? The process of becoming a legal hemp business there in Minnesota, right? What did you have to do? How much was it? A bunch of paperwork? Was it a bunch of online forms? You have to go to the city a bunch. What was that like for you to be
Right.
able to create what
Yeah.
you do?
Great questions. When we were standing up this industry in Minnesota, the cannabis industry, whether it be the adult use, higher potency, or hemp derived lower potency side of the market, um, we just needed to register with the Department of Health. That was it.
Wow.
So Minnesota Department of Health, we registered, we fill out the form, boom, they spit some email back to us and say you're registered. And as long as we're registered and we're also back then it was just a sales tax thing. Now we actually have a cannabis tax. So we've got a 10% cannabis tax in Minnesota that goes on top of. So you're almost at 20% when you add in the sales tax and Minneapolis city taxes and county taxes and all of that. I got almost 20% tax once that's all through. But that was it. It was submit the thing,
Wow.
register your business name. That doesn't take much to do here in Minnesota either. So all of it was just online. And October 17th of 2023, I was like, boop, had a business.
Boom.
And was registered and could sell. I didn't have any products at that time. So some of the partners that I had worked with previously to that, I went and started doing like Mary J cannabis parties, which are
Hmm.
pretty fantastic. It's kind of like a Tupperware party or a Pampered Chef party where you come in and we're just having conversations around cannabis and how do we remove the barriers? How do we get somebody to go into a dispensary? Well, I'll come to them, right? And let's have a conversation with your mom and your aunt and your grandparents and whoever else, your cousins and whatever fun wants to be had, and we're in a safe place, which is your home or your office, where you're comfortable asking some of the what some people would call a silly question or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, I did that, and then I had lemon cake come to market at the just by December of 2023, and then just kept moving on, right? Minnesota was pretty easy as far as that goes. Now, what did just happen, I think it was April 14th is when the window closed to register as a hemp retail business or hemp wholesaler or whatever you would want to be doing, right?
Yeah.
Um, High potency adult use is a whole nother side, but now there essentially is a pause on any new businesses, right? So
Wow.
there can't be any new businesses inside Minnesota or outside of Minnesota coming in, right? So you can't even register as a brand until this fall, which hopefully it's faster than that, but they're going to get through the lottery and social equity portion and then regular rec um, lotteries coming up here within the next month or so, I think. And then they'll move on to the hemp derived side and licensing and doing all that. So there's kind of a weird break that nobody's really mentioned or talked about nationally, to my
Wow.
knowledge. In like you can start the brand, but you can't sell it in Minnesota until you'd be able to register, and that won't happen until this fall, which is kind of wild.
That is wild. I mean, it's not unheard of in these cannabis industries across the country. There's different cities that put that cap or put a moratorium on licenses. I know where I'm from, up in Seattle, there's a city called Linwood that is rumored to be relaunching, opening up some licenses because they're all dead in their whole city. Everything got turned off by the time now,
Oh,
and it's
man.
crazy. 26 was what was once there, and
26 and now there's none?
yeah, and so it's crazy to think that something like that can happen, and the impact that can have potentially on the economy and overall growth, and what it can do to stymie something, and what could have been a bigger wave of a business there. But I can understand to some extent if maybe some of the desire to protect what's already in place and give them a chance to do their thing, if that was remotely included in some of that convo, then I can respect that decision for sure. Um,
Yeah.
Regardless, it moves on. So you guys sell to liquor stores, you guys sell to
Right.
bars, you guys sell to
Yeah.
restaurants. If you meet somebody in an elevator and they've got a business that's allowed to sell it, you can sell to them, which
Exactly.
is cool. So tell me a little bit about what that's like, and if you can too, what are the layers of what that even looks like? Is it like traditional alcohol and beverage stuff there, or are you delivering it yourself, or what is this? Bring some clarity to all those different layers there for us.
Yeah, for sure. Here in Minnesota, we don't have a requirement to be in the three-tier kind of traditional beverage distribution system or alcohol beverage distribution. We're not required to be in that. I understand there's some other states that are thinking that that's a good idea. I'm in full disagreement with that. I think that um, the way that the delays and kind of when we want to get it right and whatever the excuses or non-excuses may be as to why we're not live as we want to be,
Yeah.
as far as rec goes in Minnesota. um, the opportunity to be able to sit down and choose uh, a hemp beverage over an alcoholic beverage is pretty fantastic, right? So, I mean, right here at my local watering hole called Buster's on 28th, as well as the Cardinal Bar just down the street, right? Like, you can go in there, and those are options, and they're not they're not the only ones. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bars and restaurants that are able to partake in this, which then,
Wow.
because they were able to partake, we were able to partake, and I can deliver it all on my own. I'm partnering. I'm about to start partnering with another a brewery that already is already delivering all of their own stuff as well as their THC beverage, or beverages, and so delivery is going to come off of my plate, and then I can do kind of just some regular old school repping.
There we go.
I've limited the amount of locations that I've been in just simply because there's only so much one person can do. We were able to stand up about 70 or so locations across eight states so far. Most of that's in Minnesota, a little bit in Wisconsin, but we get to Florida, we get to Georgia, we get to Wyoming, we're in Ohio, we're in Kentucky, we're in Indiana. Um, so we're having some fun out there, but liquor stores, hemp dispensaries, bars, restaurants, like I'm in a vintage store. You
Oh,
can sell
cool.
it at the chiropractor, right?
Oh yeah, I know.
Like
My
you
grandma used to have these spaces at an antique shop, and she used to want to sell like CBD candles and all the other older people product for CBD stuff. That
you're
would be
right.
so cool to finally get that Paul Martini product you were telling me about. Which
Yeah.
good time to show that one.
Yeah. So good old Paul Martini, because Joey,
Yeah.
you and I, we met at the Classic, at the Vegas
Yep.
Classic,
Yep.
when we were down there for MJ BizCon. And so Bo, one of my buddies, I met at the Ohio Classic.
Mm.
And so I was a part of that one with Dustin over at Fat Nugs Magazine and plenty of other fun folks that came out to kind of open. It was kind of like a golf tournament slash party to open up Ohio. Um, so that was great fun. And then he was like, I really like iced tea and lemonade together. And I'm like, huh, funny. I've already got lemon teeny. Why don't I just take my lemon teeny recipe, take half of that, and then go and put some organic black tea in it, sweeten the tea just a touch, balance it a little bit, and boom, here's another beverage. So, um,
Boom.
I'm trying. I'm doing my best to not come out with any more products this year, because I was looking at some dates, and I came out with eight. I think I came out with eight CPG, CPG products within a year. Um, it was kind of all part of the plan, but it wasn't part of the plan in that period of time. I'm
Mhm.
happy that that's where we sit. I have a beverage that I'm working on formulation. It's tricky. I don't know how I'm going to figure it out. I might end up getting two products out of one, but I'm going to do a beverage called Olive Teeny. Um, I've been able to reduce my alcohol intake by about 50%. I'm really good at drinking all of the things, and one of the things that I enjoy to drink is an alcoholic beverage. And with these THC beverages, I've been able to decrease my alcohol intake, which has been pretty fantastic. And that's a bit of the reason for some of the build. I mean, the
Yeah.
teeny part of it was just a way to make a name of
Hmm.
something that nobody else had out there and not be blue raz or strawberry, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
give it something special. Um, but yeah, anyways, we're having fun. I'm trying not to come out with another one, but I have lemon teeny, orange teeny, lime teeny. They're an almost identical recipe across those three. All I did was switch the fruit. Slight difference on orange teeny because we didn't need as much citric acid in order to balance that one. And
Yeah.
then Paul Martini, of course, I just told you what the recipe is on that. But yeah, it's organic juice, organic cane sugar, touch of sea salt, water, citric acid, THC. That's it. Keep it as
Wow.
simple as we possibly can keep it. We're spending the extra money to make sure that it's pasteurized and shelf stable without using a bunch of preservatives. Um, I don't know. I mean,
Able
I
to sell
didn't
that in other
realize
countries?
what'd you say?
Able to sell that in other countries? Like, is that something that's able to be going to other hemp markets? Is that allowed?
Yeah, I mean it could. I mean, I had some folks in France that were hitting me up trying to, kind of find some things just because I have a little wholesale button on my website. So
Hmm.
when
Yeah, I saw
searching
that.
for it, then they just popped up and found me. And I had some conversations for, a week or so, and then they kind of just fell off. But yeah, we could get
Cool.
it over to we could get it over there. I mean, everything's got a certificate of analysis. It's a requirement here in Minnesota to have that. So any beverages that anybody's ever looking at from Minnesota, you scan that code on the back. I want to make it as easy as it can be. So instead of bringing you to my website and marketing to you and doing those things, if you're scanning that code, I expect you want to see the goods, right? You want to
Yeah.
see that I did what we needed to do with that product. And you should find it should be easily accessible, that certificate of analysis, right? Like, oh, here it is.
Of course.
Um, so we should be able to. We should be able to send it to some other spots.
Don't when it comes to the beverages and you with also the gummies, you have to have figured out the consistent dosing and the science behind that. I mean, you're talking about certificate of analysis, so the math has to math, the science has to science, and in this case, you got to hit the numbers that are on the can or on the packaging for the gummies. How does that translate into the tinctures and that kind of product? Because even then it's like it's droppers, and so I know that's like lines on the little dropper thing, and then a full bottle equals whatever amount. Talk about your products there, and how did you dial in the dosing for the tinctures?
Right. I'm not the math man. That's the beautiful thing about it, right? So on the tincture side of things, I found a tincture that was in the market already that I used on a regular basis that I
Oh,
really
fantastic!
enjoyed. I have always sold others CBD oil tinctures as rescue CBD. Um, because I think that it truly is a rescue. It's a rescue for me. It
Beautiful.
rescues me from, and can rescue you from your, your evening, your morning, that meeting, that feeling like what is that thing that's there? Hit it with some rescue CBD. And it doesn't you call anybody else's like you got some stuff that you like. That's fantastic. Keep using
Hmm.
that. Don't switch to mine. Keep supporting the small business that you've been supporting, right? Um, but try around if you want to try around. But yeah, there's other awesome math folks. I stay in the lane that I enjoy, and that's the sales and marketing lane. The um, creative of flavors and all of those things is just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and then talking through with the family and the friends and like what could it be? And there's plenty of people out there, they're like, olive teeny, I don't know about that, right? Like I don't need to do a massive run of this, but to have something briny in the market is important to me. I think that
Yeah.
the person that wants a dirty martini, right? This may be the thing that they drink, and because it has sugar in it and it's real organic sugar, our body likes it, so it uptakes better, and we feel
Yeah.
better. Um, all those things are super important. So with Rescue CBD. I was already using what I was using, and I was able to buy a bunch of it, and package a bunch of it, and make it my own.
It's
On
it's
the
it's it's interesting to think about that olive teeny and all these other teeny products because ready to drink cocktails, ready to drink alcoholic beverages is such a hot category the last 5 years or so, and probably
Yeah.
going back to just that truly popularity back in the day. Now
Hmm.
every brand has a can, Sunny Delight, Hawaiian Punch. They all have what is it, Arizona iced tea. They all have their own alcoholic beverages in a can. And even
Right.
you, like, you're not going the same direction as these other groups is something that really stands out to me because in the long run, you're gonna have a house of flavors yourself in the form of a can, and people are gonna find comfort in knowing that they can turn to you for the fruits and that they can turn to you for the brines and eventually the other beverages that you're passionate about or that maybe
Right.
inspire that cause some inspiration down the road, which that'll be so exciting and a journey to follow as well. My next question for you is, what feedback do you get most from customers when you're out there and about? Because I met you, I gave you the beverage. I'm pretty sure I cracked it and downed it right, and just came back over like, yo, I need another one. Like, what's good? This is delicious. What are some of the additional feedback that that you typically get when you're out and about doing all these events and connecting directly with the people? What do you hear people say about your beverages? Give me three
For
words or
sure.
give me 5 words if you can.
Sure. Five words. Wow, this is good.
Okay, one more.
Um, there's some folks that don't enjoy the sugar content, right?
Yep.
And then I say, hey, you want to know what? I don't want to steal your joy, right? Like if you like no cal, low sugar, no sugar, and that gives you joy and that makes you feel good, then that's great. I don't want
For
to
sure.
steal your joy. Keep drinking what you're drinking, right? But what I want is I want something that's good for me, right? And when we're looking at sugar alternatives, we're looking at the preservatives, we're looking at the dyes, we're looking at all the things that um, are in our drinks and are in our foods. I mean, sugar is in absolutely everything. Well, if it was organic cane sugar, we'd feel a little bit better about it instead of having what I like to call sugar fingers. So I get
Hmm.
sugar fingers from some folks' drinks, and that's kind of just like your fingers crawling up the back of your head. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, and then all of a sudden it happens, and then it goes away, and you might have a little bit of a crash. Um, so folks are pretty supportive about the build on the beverages, that it's as clean as I can figure out how to do it. Sure, we could start going into some live like rosins, and there's desire there to do that, but I want to meet people where they are and
Yeah.
explaining to how do I put this on the shelf and say live rosin, and then how do they know, what do I do? What do I
Yeah.
do with that? And I don't have an answer to that right now. And I don't think the information and the education has happened. I mean, we're doing our best, right? We're doing our best to inform the consumer, help the consumer feel comfortable with these beverages, right? But yeah, on the gummy side, when I have people smell the gummies, there's not even I don't even they're not even saying a lot usually. I'm always watching their eyes though, and their eyes go like this because they just smelled they didn't expect it, right? They're like,
Yeah.
whatever, mini donuts, right? Oh no, it actually smells like that, right? And then they'll pull in the other person that's in the store with
This
them
is
and be like, you
crazy.
got
You
you
gotta
gotta
try
you
this.
gotta smell this, you know what I mean? And it just happened at a liquor store that um they didn't buy my gummies. They bought Paul Martini, and now I'm in a couple new locations in Wisconsin, which is great. But on the gummy side of it, like malt and fries, I gave it to them. I just ripped that bag open. I shove it in their face. They gave it a whiff, and then they handed it right to the other person. They're like, "You gotta smell this," and ran over there on the floor, stocking some stuff. They shove it in that person's face. So um, the smell the smell of the gummies is for sure a thing, and then the punchiness. Um, it's not it's not overly sweetened, right? Like if you take a little nip of a lime or a lemon, like that's the essence that we're going for here. Like what is the real fruit?
Hmm.
Why don't we know what that tastes like, right? When we built Lemontini, when we were building it, we didn't have the organic ingredients to use for the samples, right? So what we did, I didn't know this was going to be the thing that worked out, but it ended up working out pretty sweetly, is we built it with non-organic ingredient that was just already there. Regular cane sugar instead of organic cane sugar, and sprinkled some sea salt in it and mixed it up, and we balanced that to make the non-organic ingredients taste as good as we could make them taste.
Hmm.
And then once that it just happened to get done in time to where the organic samples came in, we made it, we mixed it up with exactly the recipe that we had created, flipped it over to organic. There wasn't another thing we needed to do to it. It didn't need more, it didn't need less, it didn't need anything. We just needed to switch it. And the difference between the non-organic and the organic was just, it was unbelievable. Um, but some people don't like tart, so that's why I made orange genie,
I
right?
love sour. I love tart. Give me all that. I just had some. I was in Costa Rica the last 2 weeks. I just had some limones, and they made some frescas out of that, and it's like a sweeter orangey lime.
Yeah.
It was delicious. It was the most sour thing I'd ever had. It was like a warhead making me cramp up right here and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was
I know
wonderful.
when you get that.
I don't
I
like
do that a lot to folks, so
like that to me. I would definitely be that person to to hype the gummies up if I were to come across flavors. So that stuff always gets me excited. I'm a smell person. If the beverage smells gross or if the food doesn't smell good, I'm not gonna eat it. I'm not gonna tell nobody about it if it's funky with me like that. I'm picky like that. But
right.
super cool. Mini donuts, man. Lemon cake. Then you got all these teeny flavors. We talked about the Palmertini that just came out. I saw on the cam when you held it up 20 milligrams THC. Is that standard across all your bevies?
That's a 10. I had my
Oh,
thumb in
it's a
the way a
10.
little
Okay.
bit. So yep, that's a 10. It is standard across my beverages. When I was doing a little bit of market research, figuring out if I was going to do a 5, like I knew I was doing a 10, but was I going to do a 5 at all? Um, you go and talk to liquor stores even a year ago, and they're like, we don't even carry 5 milligram anymore. So 5 or under, there's a lot of liquor stores don't even touch it. You can't go above 10 milligram THC. We have a 10% variance, so you could go to 10.99
Mm.
with it to stay within tolerance. Um, but that's 2 servings of 5 milligrams is the highest dose that you can go with. So that's even in gummies, right? Like I use a split mold for my gummies, and I only do 5 milligram gummies. There's 50 milligrams in a full package. That's the max that we can have in a package here. But what you could do is you could go with the 10 milligram split, and just as long as that delineation is there, then you can have 5 10 milligram ones in there, because they could then
Yeah,
just bite it in half, right?
that little line or the slice or whatever it is.
Right. But
Mhm.
all we've been doing is cutting our gummies, right? Like if we don't have the tolerance to handle whatever that dosage is for that gummy, we're cutting it on the corners. The reason why I don't use a round gummy is because if there's any, deformity within that gummy, how can you actually figure out what's what, right? Like when you've got some corners to work with, you got an idea and you can actually cut it up. That's why I only put a 5 milligram gummy in a split mold, so that you can easily just bite it in half. And if you want a 2.5 milligram, which I'll do, I'll have my rescue CBD in the morning, about 20 milligrams or so. And then, I don't know, that's at like 6 something in the morning. And then by 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, every once in a while, sometimes I can't catch my focus, right? I got too many things that are moving, and I need to slow my mind down for a second. So I'll bite a half of a gummy off, and I've got 2.5 milligrams. But you might be different. You might want 12 and a half. Well, you can get to 12 and a half. You can get to 12 and a half easy enough. with my gummies. So meet people where they're at. There's plenty of folks that are out there that just kind of want to get whacked on top of the head or whacked across the head or whatever. They just want to get messed up, and that's great. I understand those folks are in the market. Um, but I'm looking
They
for the
can buy your
person
stuff too. Buy a lot of it. We encourage you
they
guys to
can.
buy a lot of Green Elevator, please. By
Yeah,
all means, buy a pallet. You can go to his website. I got it right here for all you guys. GreenElevatorCannabis.com. Make sure you visit,
there
place an
you go.
order. We'll get you taken care of. We love
There
you
you
guys.
go. There you go. Yeah. And when it comes out, why don't you use respect my region and then I'll give you like 20% off. How's that sound?
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. So give me a
Shout out to the
second.
fans. Let's
Yeah,
go.
don't try to get it in too early. Give me
No,
like,
what you were about to say, and all jokes aside, is that you didn't make it for the high potency consumer. You made it for somebody that one, you made it to be compliant. Two, you made it based on what you're passionate and your interest in what you like. And I think that enough on alone is enough to stand alone on that. People
yeah,
can deal with your decisions and be happy with that. If they want to
right.
give, but if they need it and they want it in the high dose, just buy more or continue supporting whoever you support. Right? There's nothing wrong with
There you
that.
go.
We're gonna stay in our lane because you know why? What's the tagline? What's the tagline, Lance?
The
Because
elevator will take you where you want to go.
let's go. And sometimes you got to stuff a lot of people in an elevator and play, more gummies, more gummies. So we
Yeah,
just encourage you to
exactly.
stock up. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes
Lance, this has been a
sometimes you
fun
have to be
combo with
the
you, man. This has
yeah,
been a fun
some
combo getting to learn about the products, getting to learn about your guys' industry, how you got started. It's dope that the tagline came from your fam. It's dope that just the creativity and the mindset and how you went about coming up with these things and the R&D side of it and meeting you at an event, which is clearly your passion. You're a people person. You want to get out there in the
yeah.
field and see, you mentioned watching the eyes and seeing the smiles. I think that's huge. What do you guys have coming up next? It's 2025. We're in the middle of Q2. What do you got coming next for Green Elevator in this month? We just had Cinco de Mayo yesterday. What you got going on this month and next month?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's the release of Paul Martini. Paul Martini will be Paul Martini's hitting the market this week. Is really what it comes down to. So that's great. That's in partnership with the Classic, which is a cannabis golf tournament, which is pretty fantastic. We've got Rescue CBD that just launched within the last month or so. I don't know if I'm going to the Cali Classic. Um, it's pretty much sold out. As far as I know, there might be some expo tickets that you might be able to. It's at the Monarch Beach Club or Golf Course, Beach Club Golf Course, something like that. It's really
All the
nice
same.
looking. Um, so you've got that. We've got for events the Ohio Classic that's going to be coming up here in July. There's plenty of other fun stuff that's going on, right? I mean, we've got the California State Fair and the California Cannabis Awards. That's coming. Got MJ BizCon coming in December. I'll be working on Olive Teeny. I don't know if we'll have it. I don't know if we'll have it this year. I just finished up knocking out the elevator used to just be all white, and so we
Mm-hmm.
knocked it out so that it went back to the can.
Cool.
I don't know. We'll figure something out, right? But mainly, I want I want to be where people are, right? And my goal this year is to just have two retail partners. If I've got two retail partners in every state that does not make it difficult for a hemp business to operate in, whether it be a super low THC cap or whatever it ends up being, I don't want to go against the rules, right? Um, but if you know of those places that, like the North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, like we're already having fun. Hopefully, we get some more fun stuff going on in Pennsylvania or states that our listeners are coming in from. If you've got a spot that you're like, man, I want to see some green elevator there, like hit me up, let me know.
And people, again, for those of you guys watching and for these future consumers and supporters, customers, greenelevatorcannabis.com for retailers and again, restaurants, liquor stores, fucking barbershops. If you want a cooler or you have a cooler or a fridge with beverages in it, you should be selling Green Elevator Cannabis if you are able to in your
Yeah.
store. I mean, it's delicious. I co-sign the flavor. I'm super interested in trying these other products, so we'll chat about that. It's going to be exciting to watch your guys' growth. And Lance, I appreciate your time, man. It's a pleasure. to get connected with you and to reconnect as well. And it's dope. I'm gonna pull up your Instagram before we bounce to give people a rundown, and then we'll get you guys on out of here, man. This is gonna be a quick one. Here we go. Green elevator. All right, what am I looking at right here? What's this? That lemon cake right here?
Yeah, that's lemon cake. That's how we talk about gummies on social
Mm,
media without there being any gummies.
I
So we
love
just
that.
smashed up a bunch of lemon cake and shoved it in a Waterford crystal glass. Like, how can we just be messy classy?
That's wonderful, and I support that and love lemon cake. So that looked delicious. And there's your Rescue Buddy tincture right here, the CBD oil.
Yep. There's your rescue CBD.
I love that. Oh, and then this is some of the lineup. Little Mother's Day. Okay, this is dope. This is when is Mother's Day? Isn't that coming up, or did it just happen? When
It's
is that?
this weekend. Yeah, it's coming
This
this Sunday.
weekend.
This
Let's
Sunday,
go. Make sure you guys get in there, man. Get some green elevator for your mom. You know what I'm saying? Super
right?
dope. Oh yeah, here we go. Another golden. What was this one? New flavor times iconic. That's the Palmer Martini right here.
Yeah, we haven't told anybody, right? We haven't told
Uh,
anybody that Paul Martini is out there. So like
let's go.
this is the social announcement in a sense.
Boo, 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 boo,
Um,
boo. RMR exclusive, folks. Come on, baby. Let's
there you
go.
go.
Make sure you guys get on there, man. GreenElevatorCannabis.com. Get your Palmertini orders in. Great opportunity for you to get connected. 10 milligrams, hemp-derived THC out of Minnesota. I guess my last and final question is, the hemp THC come from Minnesota? Does the hemp products come from
Yeah.
Minnesota? All the
Yep.
inputs grown from a
Yep. We've
farm and
got
all that
a
good stuff?
exactly as close as we can find it is where it is. I mean, the
Cool.
hemp that's in the emulsion that's in all of the beverages comes from an organic hemp farm in Otsego, Minnesota. So
Wow.
it's not it's not far from here. That's where it is. We're just doing our best over here, so you can do your
Cool.
best.
Minnesota owns, Minnesota grown, sip. I love it, dude. Lance, it's been a pleasure, man. Everybody, thank you guys for hanging out. As I said, greenelevatorcannabis.com. Make sure you guys reach out, support. You guys can follow them also on Instagram. Lance, I know it was like GRNELVTR. What was your Instagram again? You
Yeah,
said
it's
it.
green elevator without the vowels.
Yep, there we go. Green, that's easy. Green elevator without the vowels. Make sure you all tap in. We'll catch you guys on another episode here soon. For now, though, Lance, thank you. We'll see you guys next time.